Hello everybody, welcome to Critical Hit Wargaming. Today we're going to be painting some more Middle-earth strategy battle game stuff, and today it will be a Mordor / Isengard troll. They're painted in very similar fashion, so it's pretty much the same scheme for both. This model was donated by two viewers, Yayan and Megan, so thank you very much to them. We'll get it painted and then I'll send it back to them and they can enjoy using it in their tabletop gaming fun. Let's get started. The base coat / undercoat you're going to need today is Grey Seer by Citadel or equivalent. If you're from the UK you can get a Colourforge equivalent. I can't remember what it's called. It's like Ghost Grey or Ghostly Grey. Either way it needs to be a light grey. You could do it with white, not quite as effective. Then you're going to need some Dark Oath Flesh contrast, and we're going to paint that all over the skin area on the troll. So that's his legs, his arms between the wraps around his biceps and forearms, his face, and all down his back. Now, a few people have messaged me on Instagram and on Facebook and commented on here asking how I use contrast paint without getting it all streaky. People have been saying that they apply contrast paint and it ends up having loads of brush marks in it or not showing up properly. When you're using contrast paint, it's important that you have quite a lot on your brush first and foremost. Now, if you watch the video, you'll notice I don't paint that much of an area, that big of an area, without dunking it and reloading my brush again in the paint. You can really only get about 1/8 of a leg done on a troll before you need to make sure your brush has got some more paint on it. You'll also notice I don't ever paint over the same area that I've already painted where I can help it. That's something you touch up a little bit later on once it's dry, otherwise you push the contrast paint around and it goes streaky. And once that paint's mostly dry, here's what it's going to look like. That's one solid layer of colour that's pretty close to the troll skin colour we're going for. Get your Dark Oath Flesh again and just go over the raised areas on the back to give them a little bit more definition and make them a little bit darker. Next you'll need Kislev flesh and a dry brush, and you're just going to dry brush over the flesh areas. You need to make sure the contrast is completely dry before you do this, or you will have a really bad time. It's a very quick step, you don't have to spend too long doing it. It's just going to catch the raised detail and make it stand out a little bit. The next job is to use Scigor Brown or Wildwood, if you'd prefer, to paint in all of the straps and all of the cloth that's holding his armour on. If you want to go back at the end and paint the actual leather straps a different colour amongst all the cloth to differentiate it from the brown around it, you absolutely can do, but I don't think it detracts from the model at all not doing that, and you'll see what I mean when it dries. Go around as carefully as possible, especially when you get to near the hands and around the shoulders, to make sure you don't accidentally get it on the skin. If you do, get your brush in some water nice and quickly and just disperse the paint and get it off. And with that all dry, your model's going to look something like this. It's pretty much done now. You'll notice that all we need to paint in is the metallic areas, and then we're done. So that's exactly what we're going to do now. Grab some lead belcher, which is a nice dark metal and exactly what we want for this job, and then just paint over all of those armour plates, and don't forget the little bits of metal that are on some of the leather areas. You'll definitely have to go round and do a couple of coats all over the metal, so try and resist the urge to lather it all over your model and get some horrible brush strokes through your metallic paint, because it's not going on properly. It won't do over a light undercoat. And with those two thin coats you've delicately applied dry, this is what the model is going to look like. There's very little for us to do now, so let's do those final details and get it done. First you're going to need to do is the fingernails using Wildwood, so go round and get all of those painted. The process is exactly the same for his toenails, and it's also going to be the same for the gum showing at the top of his teeth. Next, you're going to need Ushabti bone. We're going to use that to paint in the teeth. So very carefully paint in all of that area with the detail brush. And then in the next layer, where we use Agrax Earthshade, we'll bring out all of the detail of the model. So as I said, once it's dry, grab your Agrax Earthshade, and we're going to shade in all of the armor areas and his teeth. Be careful not to get it all over the skin, because you'll darken it down loads and make it really grimy. As you're going round, just keep checking on your model that the Agrax Earthshade isn't pooling too much, especially underneath the model, where it will start to drip or pool into big patchy areas of shade, which is not what you want. And once all of that is dry, this is what your troll will look like. It is ready to go on the table and doesn't really look like you've just speed painted it. It's a really quick scheme. It takes a big scary model that you've probably got in your Pelennor field set and reduced it into something that is more than manageable. When it's fully based up, it looks even better, and it's really kind of hard to tell that you've not spent a little bit of time on it, especially if you take extra care to get everything neat and keep it within the area that's supposed to be the colour that you're working with. Hopefully this has been helpful for you. If it has been, like, subscribe, do all the normal stuff. Let me know if there's anything you'd like to see, and if anyone has any models they'd like to donate to the channel for me to paint, making a tutorial and then to send back to you, please do hit me up, because I can only paint things that I have in my possession at any one time. I'm not made out of money, and Games Workshop's expensive, so I've not got a vast range of things to paint. Thank you very much for watching.